Vicky, would you please tell us a little bit about the path that led you to be in the forefront of working with your community?
I started with, years ago, organizing a group that was a support group for folks that had retinitis pigmentosa.
And what is that?
And retinitis pigmentosa is a degenerative hereditary disease, which is not as uncommon as many people think. And it results in tunnel vision as a person ages. And oftentimes they think they're the only person in the world that has it.
I mean, they can only see a little bit in front of them.
It's as if they were, when you're born with it, and as you age, your vision compresses from the side. Your peripheral vision degenerates, and you have actual reading ability for many years. I mean, into your late years sometimes, depending upon the progression. But at any rate, a lot of people think they're the only ones that have it. My mother-in-law has it, and so we formed a support group and found that there are plenty of people around that have it, and they're not alone, and they shouldn't be trying to deal with this situation on their own, because there are lots of folks that share their experience. So through that group, I met some folks that wanted to go hiking. And I found out about a program that the Sierra Club has called Inner City Outings, and that is a set of outings that are led specifically for visually impaired and handicapped adults.
Oh my goodness, they had that before you even started looking.
Oh yeah, long before me. And the program was perfect for these friends of mine who wanted to get out, because the trips are geared to, they're not as rigorous as a lot of Sierra Club trips, although they can be pretty hard, but the guides are thoughtful, and they take you on trails that are not, you're not going to fall off of if you can't see to the side.
Do you have somebody at your side helping you?
Yes, and the sighted guides come along, and when we got involved, we went hiking, but the trips that are available for folks that would like to get out and do more rigorous things include cross-country skiing and river rafting and paddling, kayaking, and so forth. So there are plenty of opportunities for really energizing and exciting outdoor experiences through the club's Inner City Outings program. And that has been available for quite some time throughout the country. And in Sacramento area, the folks that really were spearheading the Inner City Outings thing have kind of they're taking a leave of absence for a while right now. There are still trips offered, but far fewer. However, the Inner City Outings programs continue to be offered for kids that live in the inner city and whose parents or family members might not naturally take them out. And so these trips are available to those kids.
Can they come with their parents?
No, usually not. Although they can. Certainly they are welcome. But it's a teacher and other adults who organize carpools and take the kids out to hike, sometimes camp over, and just enjoy the wilderness and the outdoors. There are a lot of kids in Sacramento who have never even been to the American River Parkway.
If listening to Vicky right now spurs you to think of something that you might want to do with the Sierra Club or something in your community, give us a call here at 916-456-5199. And, share your ideas, and maybe Vicky and I know of some places where you should get in touch with, just like she didn't know right away that the Sierra Club was doing this, and when she found out, she got active, and then kind of what happened with you?
Well, once you get to know people, they pull you into things. There's no question about it that it's all politics are very local and they're personal, and when people have things going on that they're involved in and they need assistance, they don't hesitate to recruit newcomers. And so I got involved first through the outings program, and then I got involved in some of the local meetings for what we call management team in Sacramento. And
what's that?
The Sierra Club has groups that are just geographically located around the urban centers. And in our chapter, the Motherlode chapter, we have 10 groups. There's one in Sacramento, one in Chico, one in Stockton, one in Modesto. We have one in Shasta. I mean, in
Oh, so
Redding.
you're kind of the chair of all of those
Yeah.
different groups.
Our area is from Stanislaus County to the Oregon border,
Wow.
and we have over 17,000 members in that
Uh-huh.
area. And each of these groups conducts outings that are local,
Mhm.
but also many of the groups have lead trips that go farther than their own boundaries. I mean, to their beyond their own geographic area. A lot of folks in Sacramento, when they go on a Sierra Club trip, will meet downtown. Usually we carpool from a location at 11th and P.
Mhm.
There's a parking lot there that serves state buildings, and they're always available on Saturday and Sunday mornings. So folks meet there at 7 or 8 in the morning, and then they will drive.
How will they find out where all these hikes are and where all these things are? How do they get that
There are
information?
two ways that are real easy. One is, I mean, they're not that easy, but they're doable, quite doable. One is on the website. The Sierra Club does have a website, and we list our outings on there. So folks can check that website at motherlode.sierraclub.org. And when you get on that, you'll see our trips and meetings, and some of our political and conservation campaigns are described on there. And the second way is, you can certainly call our office and ask to have an outing schedule mailed to you. And the number is 916-557-1100 and extension 108. If you call that number, you can ask for an outing schedule. And then the third way...
They'll mail it to you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, we'll mail it along with membership information, although you don't have to be a member to go along on our trips.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm.
And a third way that a person could pick up an outing schedule is at REI out on Expo Boulevard. We always have piles of our outing schedules available for free so that folks that want to take a trip that's led by somebody that's familiar with the area can just pick one. There are hundreds of trips listed in our outing
Yes,
schedule.
I noticed how
every
there's
quarter.
the little short ones and long ones. There are hard ones and easy
Right.
ones.
We don't have enough easy ones, I'm afraid.
Is that right? Is that why I haven't been on too many?
Right. Mostly, it turns out that folks that want to lead hikes are very
Stuck up.
well. They're physical people. I call them junior Marines. But we do have some hikes that when you read, and each hike that's listed in our outing schedule has a description and a rating, and it says how many miles it will be, and if there's any elevation gain, and describes the countryside that you're going into. And then the trips...
And even gives the name of the person
Oh,
who's
yes.
leading it, too.
Right, and then you
So
can call...
you can find out if they're a Marine or not.
Right, that's right. You can call a person and ask them to describe the trip and what kind of special gear they might need. Usually you don't need much, but you got to have water, lunch, and some good boots.
Mm-hmm. I suggest I went on a hike with a friend last year at this time, and it was a beautiful, beautiful sunny day, and we're going out and being very happy and proud of ourselves, and we decided we wouldn't take any jackets or anything like that because it was just too beautiful, clear day. And all the way up, we were just praising ourselves, and we were just happy. And we sat down to have lunch finally, and as we sat down, we saw in the far distance, we saw a little gray cloud, and then we felt a drop. And then we saw the gray cloud coming closer and closer, and a few more drops, and we decided maybe we better head back. And as we started heading back, the rain came down faster and faster and faster, and then the lightning struck. And then the thunder came.
And did it get cold?
And we didn't have any jacket on. I didn't get too cold. It felt still a little warm. But my friend, she didn't have as much fat around her, and she got a little cold.
I don't mind being wet if it's warm.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of times I've gone out and gotten wet.
Mm-hmm.
And you just make up your mind when you go out. If you don't have the right gear and you get wet, that's life. You just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Whatever you get, you get.
Yeah.
But it
was kind of scary.
Was it?
Yeah, it was kind of scary because we were about alone up there. Where was it? By some lake.
In the
and
Sierras.
In the Sierra.
And you can never predict necessarily for sure the weather.
So
in
we
the
really
Sierras.
do need to take some kind of a hat. And then hail came down.
Oh, boy.
Yes, hail. It was hitting my head and hitting my arm.
Well, in our outing schedule, we do have a list that we always put the 10 essentials. So that if you do go hiking, we recommend for sure that you take a hat for sun and hail. You take a backpack, a map, some water, plenty of water, your lunch, a whistle.
Whistle.
In case you fall and you
Need some
can't
help.
get up, you can whistle. Moleskin, because you often get blisters out there. Sunscreen, a flashlight, and a pocket knife.
Very good. All right.
You're listening to The Voice. 91.5 FM.
So at any rate, the idea there is that when you go on a Sierra Club hike, you should just plan to have fun. Plan to take the 10 essentials if you've got them. And they're not that hard to come by.
And if you didn't write them all down, you can call us right back and let us know which ones you missed at 916-456-5199. Or you can also call the Sierra Club.
We actually do offer some special interest types of hikes as well. In addition to the inner city outings, we have the garden variety trips that most folks are aware of, where you go down on a Saturday morning and you meet a crowd of folk, not a crowd, but a group. Several hikes will leave from the same parking lot each weekend morning. And you can choose the one you want to go on in advance and be there on time. They usually leave on time. And so we also have family outings, which are really geared to folks with little kids, toddler types. And so those are not difficult trips, and they really are for the kids to get out and enjoy nature. And
Maybe I can take my grandson.
Absolutely. You definitely.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He'll be 3 in August.
Yeah. He needs to start getting out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then we have Sierra Club seniors, and they do an awful lot of hikes, and they're delightful. They have enjoyable hikes, and not just on weekends, but during the week as well. And those, they encourage anyone who's interested to join them, regardless of your age, although I think they probably have folks over 50 mainly, and they really do some fun trips.
They have parties, too, don't
Parties, right? They go to museums. Sometimes they'll go to San Francisco. A lot of hikes in the Sierras.
You can't be lonely if you join the Sierra Club, can you?
Unless you choose to be. And there are plenty of opportunities. We have Sierra Club singles, and they do many of the same kind of hikes. In addition, they do dances oftentimes. And then we have a gay and lesbian group that's within our chapter. And we have a Sierra Youth group that is for high school age kids, and that one's just kind of getting started now. So we do have something for just about anybody's special interest.
Anybody out there listening, do you have an idea for a kind of a group that we haven't mentioned? Give us a call, and maybe Vicky can recruit you to help her get one started here in the area. So give us a call at 916-456-5199. And we really are eager to hear from you and hear what you have to say about this kind of an organization that both is very political and also a lot of fun and exercise and all the healthy things.
It's true that we encourage folks with ideas to bring them to us. And we can support them making those things happen. If you've got an idea that's rational, and for which there appears to be a need, we can translate that into action by organizing, publicizing. We have insurance. We have an audience of 17,000 members, plus the public is aware of what we do and is certainly
invited
welcome
to come.
on our trips and our meetings and so forth. And each of the groups that I mentioned earlier, we have 10 groups around Northern California. They have program events as well, and
Like
potlucks,
speakers,
slideshows, and potluck events and parties, and We have banquets.
Mm-hmm.
Not often, but at a chapter level, we have an annual banquet where we recognize folks who've been doing good deeds
Mm-hmm.
and deserve to be recognized for their volunteerism and their success or just their stick-to-itiveness,
Mhm.
because a lot of people do a lot.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, tell me, what in this kind of an organization, besides planning the fun things, what would you call an activist in your organization? What
Yeah.
would that be?
Well, first let me just tell you there are three things about Sierra Club members that are common to most all of our members. One is that they feel connected to the natural world. And the second is they feel somehow responsible for the natural world. And that is common across the board for our members.
They really care about what this world looks and feels like.
They want to touch the earth, be part of it, and they feel connected to the earth.
Mhm.
But the third element that is not necessarily present in every member, but in the activists, is a sense of optimism about their ability to make positive change to protect the natural world.
Wow, that's a very nice way of putting it. Yeah,
It's just like in the gut, you feel like,
we can do something about that.
and you
doesn't
never
have to be that way.
That's right, and you never feel. You might feel defeated, but you wake up in the morning and you're back at it again. It's this resilience and this overwhelming sense of optimism that you can make a positive change.
Yeah, after you've learned how to climb a mountain, or you've climbed a high and hard mountain, and you found a way to get up where you didn't think you could get up or take one more step, I bet that really prepares people for being an activist. I hadn't thought about that before, but people who do rock climbing and things like that must have a lot of optimism in there.
Right.
To know that there's going to be a place to put their foot.
There better be, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of activists in the club who are latent, I think.
What does that mean?
They've got this overwhelming optimism, but they're terribly busy raising kids or something, and they are following what we're doing, and they send funds. When we do an appeal for funds, they often send money. They pay their membership dues, and
And that's important too.
It's terribly important.
That's an action.
and we know that when they get the chance, they'll be out there helping us
Those
with
kids
things.
do grow up. I
Yes,
can
they do.
promise you.
They do grow up. And we don't have a whole lot of young people, very, very young people involved, but
I mean, like in 20s?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a move now within our club to recruit a lot more of the college and high school age kids into action-oriented things within the Sierra Club.
Mm-hmm.
And the club's putting a lot of energy and funding behind the recruitment of the youth so that they can
How are they
have a
doing
voice.
that? What-
We have a program called the Sierra Students, and anyone in the country who is a club member who notes on their membership application that they're a student, high school or college, are designated as a member of the Sierra Student Coalition, and then they're all wired together. They've got a contact system where if they want to be involved with others in their own age bracket, that's quite doable. And they are politically active, and they work on conservation, and they do trips. A lot of times the National Club will host a weekend in Washington, D.C. for students from the Student Coalition from around the country can come back to Washington and learn to rally and do political action.
Is there a membership fee for young people?
It's a limit. It's an introductory membership is $25, and I believe a student membership is $15. It's not very high.
And what is it for adults?
$33 a year after the introductory year. And the introductory year is $25 at this time. And, of course, there are life members who bought memberships. Years ago, they knew they were going to be doing this forever, and they bought
They got a bargain price.
got a bargain if they bought a life membership when they were young or even when they're older. I mean, I think a life membership might be $1,000 now.
So if you know you're going to live for a while,
Yeah, plan on it.
plan on it.
Right.
And maybe it'll help you live longer, even if you join and you think you're not going to live long.
Yeah,
If you start going on those hikes, you might live longer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Those hikes are very important for staying involved.
Yeah, Yeah. So, so what got you kind of passionate about really working for this organization? You also have a job, or are you?
Oh, yes, I do. I have a job. And I guess the thing that gets me passionate is the simple realization that we can change things,
Mm-hmm.
that there's stumbling blocks all over, and they can be knocked down.
Mm-hmm.
And when
walked around.
or well, you can walk around them, but I'd rather knock them down. The things that I really got involved with initially in terms of conservation locally.
And when you say conservation, that's an old word. I remember we talked about conservation in elementary school when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean now, conservation?
As opposed to recreation
Okay.
or political action,
Okay.
we're really talking directing our attention to a particular project that might improve the natural world, or it might, for example, in Sacramento, we have a few lawsuits going on right now. And that's one of the things the club does that a lot of other nonprofit organizations do not do. We litigate in order to set case law to improve environmental practices in the state and sometimes in the nation. And in Sacramento right now, we have a suit against the Sacramento Area Council of Governments for their transportation plan to pave more and more roadways out into the farmland and natural areas. And we consider those sprawl-inducing. But they cause congestion and bad air quality. And we would rather see the funds that go into pavement used for public transportation. Mm-hmm. So, and there's an issue within the Clean Air Act called conformity, and a district such as the Sacramento Area Council of Governments is supposed to assure that any plans they have to build new roads or new transportation projects conform to clean air standards. Mm-hmm. And we feel that their conformity analysis is not correct. And we've sued over that in an attempt to bring it.
Who are you suing? We
actually sue the Council of Governments, which is the local counties, Sacramento, Placer, Yolo, Sutter. They come together as a regional transportation planning body, and we have sued them. And we haven't gone to court yet, but there are several projects.
Good. So we're going to take a little break now, and then we can hear more about some of the lawsuits and some of the things that you're doing for conservation.
Community Radio for Sacramento, The Voice.
Do you have dreams?
Do you have goals?
Everyone does.
No matter what race or color they are.
Talk to each other.
Listen to each other.
Sure, we're all different.
But we're also all the same.
Understand the similarities.
Respect the differences.
Help end prejudice in your lifetime. Call 1-800-934-3430 or log on to www.whitehouse.gov. Together we can build one America in the 21st century. Brought to you by the President's Initiative on Race, the Leadership Conference Education Fund, and the Ad Council.
For over 35 years, Peace Corps volunteers have been solving problems around the world. Meet Dr. Javad Mashkouri, a returned volunteer from Mali, West Africa, who's now making a difference right here at home.
Peace Corps showed me what happens when you don't have access to health care. We were providing clean water, which to everyone there is health, and we try to do the same thing here by providing health care.
Peace Corps volunteers, changing the world, changing America. Make a difference. Call 800-424-8580. Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
It began in 1986. In 1988, Access Sacramento brought you round-the-clock community radio. In 1997, Sacramento's voice is heard worldwide on the Internet. In May of 1998, Access Sacramento expands the community voice again. Stay tuned as we usher in a new era in Sacramento radio. Access Sacramento and The Voice, Sacramento's community cable radio, Internet, and something more. Hello, I'm Shane Carpenter, Program Manager of Sacramento's Voice. We at Access Sacramento are embarking on a grand adventure to bring local community radio back home. We've created a radio station that reflects the cultural enrichment of Greater Sacramento, and you can help. Call 456-5199 anytime and tell us what your community is doing and how we can help. Sacramento's voice is your voice. Together, creating community radio. Sacramento, the voice is your radio station.
Hello, this is Reva Camiel, and you're back on Action Callers. And our guest today is Vicky Lee, who is the chairperson of the Mother Lode chapter of the Sierra Club of Northern California. And if you want to give her a call, I know there's some things that the Sierra Club does that some people don't approve of, and some of us just love what they do. And so you can give a call at 456 and talk to 5199, again, 916-456-5199, and give us a call, and we'll talk to you, and you can tell us what you think of the Sierra Club, or you can call and change the subject altogether and get Vicky's ideas and my ideas on how to change some of the things that you're upset about. So this is a program for us to all get involved in our community, or as many of us who are ready to do that, or to find a way of making a difference in this world. So here's Vicky again, and she was telling us about some lawsuits that the Sierra Club right now currently has with the governments, the local...
The Sacramento Area Council of Governments. That's one of the lawsuits we have currently is with SACOG over there, conformity.
I think I heard something on the radio today about, I don't know if it was the lawsuit or something about, too many roads and that kind of thing. I know
that was roadless areas in the forests today.
Oh.
That's the hot issue today. And what that amounts to is President Clinton asked the Forest Service to do an analysis of creating roadless areas and keeping them roadless.
No roads.
No roads. And what we have in our country is logging roads all over this country. When you fly anywhere in the United States and you look down, you see these ribbons through the mountains. Ribbons of dirt road, really. There's it's either 8 or 18 times as many logging roads in this country as there are highways. And that's a lot of roads. And they're created to harvest logs from federal and private lands. But this latest discussion is on a draft environmental impact statement and plan released by the Forest Service that would declare roadless areas in millions of acres of America's public forests.
You mean to get rid of some of those
to keep them roadless. It wouldn't necessarily eliminate roads. It would allow roads to grow over where they're no longer used because the logs have already been removed. But it would stop the creation of additional roads into areas and that might be logged someday. And what happens when you have roads through wildlands is they become a habitat break for animals and deer in particular. Everybody knows deer get killed on roads all the time.
I almost ran one over on my way to Shasta one day.
Yeah.
He jumped out from the side of the mountain up onto the freeway and landed with his legs splayed out, and then jumped up and ran off. I didn't know he was okay.
Yeah,
but I missed him by just a few feet.
Right. And the deer is the one that we most often think of, but there are issues with roads that we don't think about because we've all grown up in cars riding down the road. We see roadkill alongside the road, and we're jaded to it. But when you think about the numbers of birds that are killed by automobiles on roads,
I never thought about it.
I mean, we've started to refer to it instead of roadkill. We call it road take. Take is an issue a word that is used by within the Endangered Species Act, and for folks working on habitat issues for endangered species, a take is when you literally destroy the habitat or the life Well, it's really the life of a single member of a species. And so the Endangered Species Act, that's another lawsuit we have going locally, but the Endangered Species Act has within it the provisions for habitat conservation planning and so forth to keep some threatened species from becoming extinct. And by not having so many roads in our wild areas, we can at least protect existing habitat, if not improve it. And that's what the habitat conservation plans seek to, where they're approved, they would improve and preserve little refugia for habitat for certain species.
You know, certain talk show hosts and people are making fun of, you know, the owls and protecting the owls and protecting the snakes or protecting one thing or another. Why is it important to save the owl? The spotted owl is the one I read about.
Right. Well, the spotted...
I know it's only a metaphor probably for all of species, but...
Not necessarily. I mean, the spotted owl has the protection of the habitat of the Northern California spotted owl has resulted in the cancellation of some timber harvest plans. And that has resulted in some mills slowing down or closing down because they can't harvest trees and therefore the mills can't process.
Owls are in them.
Because the owls require that particular type of habitat to continue to sustain that species. And so they've become the poster child for contempt of endangered species because they've put some mills out of business. And we have areas in California and throughout the country where entire towns are dependent upon a single industry. And what we would like to see is, well, first of all, we'd like to protect the species just because they deserve it. And that there should be no species that goes extinct because man, the one with the greatest, biggest brain, is not able to adapt in a way that will allow that species to be sustained. That's the least we can do. But when we even refuse to acknowledge that we can and should save species by habitat protection, when we refuse to make that simple concession, then how big is our brain, really?
Yeah. Well, if you disagree with Vicky, give us a call, and let's hear some other points of view. You call us at 916-456-5199, or if you agree with her and you have some other arguments for what she's talking about, do that too. This is a program for all of us to learn about how things work and how we can make them better, and how businesses maybe won't get hurt and maybe the owls won't get hurt. You know, what are some creative problem-solving things that we can do with our brains?
Right. One of the things we've done in Sacramento, Sierra Club, working with water purveyors and cities and developers, we work together in the Water Forum, which a lot of people have heard about. It's been going on for 6 years, 7 now, and it's a public dispute.
The rivers?
No, the Water Forum. It's the water supply for Sacramento region. And back 6 or 7 years ago, it was the county passed a general plan that allowed a lot of new growth out in the Elk Grove, South County area without water supply.
No water supply?
The groundwater out there is overdrafted. And so they allowed us how that's where the new growth ought to occur, but they also observed there was insufficient water for all the new development that they had approved. So the city, which has lots of water because of our rivers, agreed to work with the county and the 17 water purveyors in the Sacramento area to detail out some agreements about how we can share the water to accommodate growth as approved in the county's general plan that goes out to the year 2020. And so conservationists sat at the table and worked with those other stakeholder groups to work out 400 distinct and separate agreements for sharing the water to let this community grow in a way that where everybody would have enough water.
Elk Grove, you mean?
Elk Grove, yeah, the Sacramento area.
Let me ask you this. There was an article in the paper today with Gore, and I know years ago when he was running with Clinton for president and vice president. He was a big environmentalist and spoke out for that. How is he being seen by the Sierra Club and by conservationists and ecologists at this point? Does he still have his credentials in that area?
Mm-hmm. I think there are people who believe that he does have his. I'm one who believes that he does have those credentials. Mm-hmm. He hasn't really been in the catbird seat, or certainly not the driver's seat, on a lot of the administrative practices. The direction that the Clinton administration has taken has not necessarily been Al Gore's direction. I mean, he hasn't been in the driver's seat. However, he's been under attack lately because he didn't do everything that he envisioned in the book he wrote called The Earth in the Balance back in '92. And he wrote some very great visionary statements about how the Earth can be protected. And he's being held accountable for all those things he envisioned in that book. Mm-hmm. And since he is not the only one involved in the way the Earth has been treated by politicians and consumers and just general folks like us. But a lot of people would hold him personally responsible for not having done everything he wrote about in his book. And in today's paper, in the Sacramento Bee, there's an article about his having declared that he would support the vast amount of roadless areas that we would like to see preserved in pristine areas, and not have logging in those areas. So, and he's made that statement, I think, because he understands it's a very important position for him to take if he wants environmentalists to support him as a presidential candidate.
You need members who are interested in politics and who can go to meetings and be watchdogs or things like that. Would you like people who have some time to sit in these meetings?
That's precisely what we need, more than anything. We need folks who have some time during the day to attend public meetings and pay attention to what's going on, the decisions that are being made. And sometimes, I mean, you don't have to be an expert to testify on behalf of the club, because there's dozens of folks who can write testimony for you and give you the drill on why we have these particular positions and give you the background. And I'm a great believer that we learn by osmosis.
Mm-hmm. By that you mean?
You just sit in a room and soak it up. Mm-hmm. And you listen to the discussion that's going on between the elected officials and the folks who are testifying, the staff reports that are given. It doesn't take too long before you become the expert.
Right.
You don't have to read or go to college to figure out some of this basic stuff. Mm-hmm. It's just fundamental, rational thinking.
So people who maybe are at home could be on disability, and you can get into downtown to the supervisors' meetings. And what other kind of state
there are hundreds of agencies in Sacramento that hold open meetings, and nobody's there. Nobody goes to listen to them. In fact, one of the early ones that I started attending was the County Parks Department. I started going to their meetings and finding out terrible things were happening just because nobody was there to say, hold up. And after a while, you get on the agenda mailing packet, and you know what they're proposing to do.
Yeah. Well, we had on the show somebody from two people from the Neighborhood Communities Organization, and they talked about one park that out in by Consumnes, the college, where they made a park with the community put together. There was some land there that was owned by the city, and they got the land, and they put in the services and things themselves, and have created a wonderful community park there through the neighborhood getting involved.
Right.
And so each of us can do things. So if you have some ideas about what you want to do and you want to know what direction to take to do it, give us a call at 916-456-5199 and see if we can give you a hand. Also, if you'd like to send me an email, you can send an email to, let's see, what is that again? Actioncallers at, Actioncallers at, oh dear, what is it? I know it, and my little brain has just let it go. So I'll tell you a little later. So anything else that you wanted to make sure we know about with the Sierra Club and activists and what you need, and what are some of the things?
One of the things that I think that we have a great opportunity, a need in this area, in all areas that needs to be met, is for more adults, families, to take kids out on hikes. Little kids and grade schoolers and older kids, because they don't necessarily, many children do not have an opportunity to get out into nature, and it's important for kids. And our club does have a training program to teach folks how to lead outings. We have insurance.
By insurance, what does that mean?
Well, it covers.
Gets hurt?
Yeah, if somebody gets hurt on a trip, we have insurance to cover it. And our leaders all have had first aid, and they can certainly. We would welcome folks that would want to be involved in being trained to take kids out.
Yeah, I'm feeling really excited about the possibility of taking my little grandson on one of those trips. And
you're listening to The Voice.
Don't touch the dial.
Okay, and Vicky, let's see what other kinds of things that I had in my list of things that I wanted to ask you. One of the things I was thinking about was, are there any public agencies that are supporting Sierra Club?
No.
No.
We are very independent of public agencies. We do have foundation grants, and we have some anonymous funders. In fact, the National Club has gotten funding, 2 different large anonymous grants from folks that were concerned about the youth being involved in nature and in conservation work. So this last year, a program was begun to get inner city kids out into environmental education programs. And so the club has given grants around Northern California for scholarships for kids to go out to Sly Park type of places and spend some time out there and being able to enjoy nature. And another anonymous, they're anonymous, I suppose, for a reason, because if we knew who they were, we'd be at their doorstep all the time. But we also have huge grant from a donor to provide scholarships for kids that are graduating from high school that want to go to college and work on issues that would work toward preserving the earth. But the scholarships are directed towards students graduating from communities that have industries such as I described earlier, mills or mining, fishing, where the extraction of those natural resources has been the sole industry in certain communities, particularly in the Sierras and in Northern California. So this donor gave the club money to provide scholarships for kids graduating to go for 4 years of college. They get $2,000 a year for each of the 4 years they're in college.
If you're a young person just graduating, you just let us, let the Sierra Club know what you're interested in.
And all they're asked to do is write an essay about what it is that they're concerned about and what they'd like to do as a result of their education to help the earth.
Like they could want to be a lawyer to work on certain issues, or they
public
want
interest lawyer.
And very good. That's great. Let's see, what else? At your meetings, do you have meetings that people get together and talk about the issues locally?
Yes, we have meetings, but not terribly often. They're not like. We have conservation meetings. It's a committee that meets the first Monday of every month at the Garden and Arts Center, which is in McKinley Park. We meet at 7 o'clock the first Monday of every month, unless it happens to be a holiday. So next Monday we'll be meeting over there, and people are certainly welcome to attend and participate in our discussion. We will be talking about Yosemite, the plan that was recently released by the Interior Department for restoring Yosemite Valley and getting the cars out of the valley and removing some of the housing down there.
Years ago, my husband and I and our friends used to go on hikes in Yosemite and all over, and we used to talk about the need for cars to be out of the valley, and that was over 30 years ago. We hoped that would happen sooner, and it's just really starting to be looked at. It seems like now.
It is awful, the situation in the valley now. The thousands of cars that come in.
I see people when I've been there. I see people with gas masks.
Oh, I haven't seen that, but I'm not surprised because people drive around real slowly looking for a parking spot, and they're idling nearly, and that is bad. The other thing I wanted to mention that we're doing locally is, in an attempt to save habitat and farmland and open spaces, we work to encourage local land use practice that would densify the cities so that we have folks living along transit corridors where they don't need to use their cars, and in apartments whenever possible, so that everybody doesn't have to have a single family quarter-acre house, and certainly not everyone can afford it. And so to have these compact, livable types of land uses within the city, we advocate for city planning and county planning to provide subsidies for affordable housing, low-income and very low-income housing opportunities. And currently, we're working with the Northern California Legal Services to help to advocate with the city of Sacramento to adopt a good housing element that would acknowledge that the city has a wide range of incomes and everyone is entitled to living accommodations. But most of the housing that's being approved in Sacramento is for high-end homes. And we're advocating that the city adopt policies to support housing for low and very low-income families.
And kind of a mixed neighborhood.
Absolutely
So we don't
mixed.
have ghettos, and we
That's
don't
right.
have little hiatus places for people to hide behind their fences.
That's
and,
right. That's
and
right.
their gates.
We're really anxious to, and this is not going to happen overnight, but we started after the war when the GI Bill came out. Guys like my dad got GI Bill, and they were able to come out here and buy a car, a little house, and pretty soon the suburbs sprung up, and the roads started.
I'm guilty.
Yeah, there's a lot of us. And so what we're saying now is it's time to pull back from that. That was then. This is now. We've got to, if we're going to clean up our air and congestion and have more of a mixed-use, livable community, we've got to change our lifestyle expectation. And this notion that is the, quote, American dream, that's not necessarily...
We need to change. Maybe need to change that.
America has changed since the end of the Second World War. So we're really advocating for new land use practices that are more adaptive.
Well, I really want to thank you so much, Vicky, for being here and such a vast amount of knowledge about what's going on in the conservation world. And I'm just delighted to meet you. I get the newsletter every month and see your little picture there. And so I'm glad to meet you. And I am a member, and I want to support it any way I can. And if any events come up, you let me know so we can announce it on our show.
Will do.
And I also would like to let people know here that if you want to help maintain the Pacific Crest Trail in Northern California, the Sierra Club is having group trips on several weekends over this summer. And the first one is going to be, it looks like this weekend, June 3rd. And you can call 926-349-2109 for more information. And you can go there and help make the paths easier, or fix the stepping stones, or cut away a little bit of brush, not making big roads and not making big paths. And I know I was in Australia last year, and I met some people who had built some steps in this real kind of very highly down in a valley, and it made it so much easier for me to walk up the
that's what you want to do,
mountain.
Is make the grade so that it's a comfortable walking grade.
Yeah, and it was really beautiful in this beautiful forest, rainforest. And you might want to become knowledgeable about the Sacramento flood control solution. that the property owners in the floodplain can now vote on. I know I live in the floodplain and I got a ballot at my house. Don't throw it away. Read about the issues, and if you're a homeowner in the flood area plain, be sure to vote right away. And do you have a point of view on that?
Oh, yes,
imagine?
we support that. We would like to see the Safeca Assessment District established because it will cost all of us less to have an assessment district than to buy flood insurance every year. But beyond that, it will allow us to have flood protection through levees instead of the Auburn Dam. And our club has opposed Auburn Dam since I was a little girl. And this is one way that we can once and for all remove the threat of an Auburn Dam.
Okay, so at this time I want to acknowledge our growing number of volunteers who have so graciously and earnestly committed themselves to bring you this program. First is Steve Ballog, a transportation professional who is learning to keep action callers on the airwaves. And our second volunteer engineer is Michael Geller, and Michael is a workers' comp attorney in Sacramento. And third is our welcoming telephone greeter, Diane Matar, who has recently joined the new army of the active retiree. And I found our email site. It's actioncallers@hotmail.com. Again, actioncallers with an S on the end at hotmail.com. And let me know a little bit about you. And, remember your voice can be heard on this station, FM 91.5, by telephoning me, Reva Camiel, at 916-456-5199. This is a state-of-the-art program where we will use every form of communication, written or spoken, to become seekers of solutions for the many problems that face our planet. Be part of the solution rather than being part of the problem. Thanks again, Vicky Lee from the Sierra Club, for your ongoing energy for creating a world that is ongoingly being created by all of us.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.